Picture this. You tell an AI agent, create a 20% off collection of my best-selling t-shirts. And then it's live in seconds. New collection, new discount code, everything done. Well, today, what I'll show you is the first building block that makes all of that possible. It's an AI agent that can take any action on your Shopify store. And the main ingredient is Shopify's MCP server. Think of it like a language translator. It's fluent in plain English and also Shopify's API dialect. And before MCP, if you wanted to build a tool, then you needed custom scripts for every admin change. Now, AI handles all of that hard stuff, and you just prompt it in English or whatever language you speak. And yes, the MCP announcement is found on the Shopify.dev docs, and they mention using it with development tools. So here's the announcement, and you can see that you can use it within Cursor Chat, Windsurf, or Claude Desktop. But we're not going to do any of that, so you don't need to worry about it. And we're actually going to build this into n8n. And this is going to be the foundation of your do everything AI agent without needing to use any code. So let's jump in and take a look. So here it is. This is our AI agent. It's fairly simple, right? We've got our AI agent node. We're just connecting it with a chat trigger, but you can use Slack or anything else. And we have our AI chat model. We have a memory. We have the MCP client, which will connect to our MCP server. And we have our HTTP request, which will send the API requests to our Shopify store. So in a little bit, I'm going to show you how to set up these different nodes and what goes on behind the scenes. But for now, what I'm going to do is just kind of do a quick little demo to show you the AI agent in action. So we're hooked up to our demo store, and we can just try, say, list 3 products in the store. So we can do something like this first. And so you can see here, it's working through. You can see that we've got the AI model going, it's got your memory, and then it's interacting with the MCP client. And then finally, it sends out the HTTP request. And look what we've got here. We've got 3 products showing up. We've got a shoe, we've got this t-shirt, and we've got this other t-shirt. So these are all products on the store itself, right? So let's say, for example, okay, can you give me product images of these products? Something like that. Let's try that. So let's see if we can actually get the images for these 3 different products. All right, and so it's going through again. It's using the chat model. It's communicating with the MCP client. And we've got our HTTP request here. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger now. So here we go. You can actually see, here we go. We've got image of our shoe. We've got variant images for our t-shirt here, and then some more variant images for this t-shirt. It's actually the same t-shirt. It's just got a different product name because I was just doing test. We've got just duplicated product for test reasons. But you can see we get these images here. So let's say now we want to rename the Gazelle shoe to Gazelle black shoe. Let's say something like that. And actually, before we do that, let's just look at the product on our Shopify admin. Okay, so we're in our admin here. Let's just search for our Gazelle shoe here. Gazelle shoe. Okay. So this is the product that we have that we're looking at. It's called the Gazelle shoe here. And let's go back to our, oh, this is the no inventory one, sorry. Let's, Gazelle shoe, no inventory. Okay. So this is the product that we're looking at. And let's say now, let's rename the Gazelle shoe no inventory to Gazelle black shoe no inventory. So let's do something like this and see if we can actually edit our product. Okay, so you can see here it says that we don't have the permissions to make that change. And so this is one of the concepts we're going to talk about a little bit later when we set up the agent. But the permissions that the agent has is related to the permissions that the API key has. So let me just quickly change the permissions and then we'll come back and we'll try that again. Okay, so we're back. We made the change to the API settings and we now have the permissions to edit products. If you are curious on how to set up your API with Shopify or how to edit those settings, we have a different video on how to set that all up. Just check the link in the description. Okay, so let's just try this again. I'm just going to copy and paste this again, and we'll retry. Okay, so it's working through. It's looking at the MCP client again, HTTP request. And then it now says the product has been successfully renamed. Okay, old name, new name. So I'm going to come here and we're going to look into our product, Gazelle shoe and Gazelle black shoe. There we go. You can see how it's now edited the product. Isn't that cool, right? Now we can just chat with this AI agent and tell it what we want it to do in Shopify and it will just do it, right? Really, really cool. What else can we do? Let's say, for example, let's what list out the previous 3 orders. Let's do something like that. So we can make edits to our products, but we can also look at, say, our orders, and we can start do actions with the orders. Okay, we've got these 3 orders: 10, 17, 16, and 15 for $44.90, $32.50, and $47.40. Each one is 1 item each. So let's actually take a look to see if that's accurate. So we'll go to analytics. Orders. And we can see 1017, 1016, 1015, 44.90, 32.50, 47.40. I think that's the same numbers. It sure is. So, okay, now we can see that these products, so these orders were made. We can ask, were these fulfilled? And we start working with this agent to ask, to start to operate it. We go, oh, you know what? These are not fulfilled. So, let's we can get a better sense of what's going on in our store. And now you can build out an agent that helps with your Shopify store fulfillments, right? How about this? Let's which customers are which are our highest value customers? Let's try something like this. So this should be able to hopefully look through our orders, read the customer data, and figure out which customers have, purchased the most or the highest values. We'll see what the AI agent comes back with. And if we want it to be most number of orders or highest value, we can actually specify that directly to the agent. So it gives you the answer you exactly want. Okay, stop due to maximum number of iterations. Okay, let me just try that again. We can also potentially update the settings for how many iterations it takes. So I don't know how many iterations we'll need, but we'll just change this to 30 just in case. We'll just save that. Okay, so we have, they give us 7 customers. And we have this customer that's been spent 377, this customer 332, 320. So we've got all these different customers here, and they tell us how much they've spent. So I guess they've ranked it by the total revenue that each customer has generated. So really cool, really cool. And then let's try one last one. Please generate a 10% discount code called Save MCP. Discount codes typically need a start date. They need which customers it's for. and what type of discount it is. So we're just going to specify that information up front. So the discount code applies on the entire order. Start date is now, never expires, and valid for all customers. Let's see if that works. Okay, so it's working through. I'm just kind of waiting for it to finish. Okay, there was an error. Fields in the mutation. Let me adjust the request and try again. Okay, so please try again, I guess. Let's see what happens. Try again. We just need the one discount code save MCP. Let's try that. See what happens. Okay, it's saying here that we need to specify usage limits. So, okay, so no minimum purchase. All right, let's see if it works this time. Okay, it's telling me that I didn't fully answer the questions he was looking for. So they need to know whether the discount code should be set at the top level argument, and the customer selection and all applicable items should use the correct type and fields. I'll fix those try again for all customers with no expiry. No, would you like the discount to be stackable with other discounts, or should it not combine with any other first? It should not combine with any other offers. Okay, so maybe it just needed that information from us. So let's try this again. Okay, there we go. So it just needed some extra information from us, but we answered the questions that the agent says, hey, you're missing this information, please give it to me. And it says we've now created this save MCP discount code. So let's actually see if we can find it. So we'll go to our discounts tab here. And there it is, save MCP, 10% off entire order. And this is the one that we just created, right? And so we just went through a few different examples here of different actions we might want to take in our Shopify store. But you can see here with just this simple AI agent setup, we can already start to do all sorts of different things in our Shopify store. And it's like just asking an employee or maybe an intern to just kind of do these things for you. And you just say, hey, edit this product, create this discount code, or whatever it is that you want. And the AI agent is starting to just be smart enough to just do that for you, right? And so you can imagine, you can start to fine tune these agents to do very specific things, right? Maybe you want an AI agent that is specialized in doing order fulfillment, and another one that's specialized in doing managing your products, and another one that's managing marketing. And you can start to have these AI agents working with each other, or you have an army of agents that you interact with on a daily basis to just help you do things in Shopify. And it doesn't have to be just on the admin side, right? Like, let's say you want a customer service agent that talks with the customers, checks orders for the customers. Like, they're always asking, hey, where's my order? What's going on with it? The AI agent can go into your Shopify store, take a look, and then maybe if they need to make the customer happy, they can create a discount code for them, right? So like, basically, it's really up to your own imagination on how you want to use this agent. And you can just kind of take this foundation here and fine tune it to do these different things, or keep it very general and have it sort of like a do everything agent. So I think this is probably the most powerful Shopify AI agent that you can build in basically just a few minutes. And I don't know, I'm just really excited for this as well, because it just kind of opens so many doors on what we can do with agents. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of take you through on how we built this and what's needed so that you can start playing with it for your own store. Okay, so there's not too many nodes going on here, but there is a little bit behind the scenes. So I'll just kind of take you through it. So first we have our chat trigger, right? So like I mentioned earlier, if you like to use Slack, or if you like to use Telegram or any other sort of um, uh, chat messaging tool that you use to interact with the rest of your team, you can just put your agent in there so it's more native to how you work. And then we have our AI agent. So the AI agent, we have a little prompt here, right? It's just to say, you have these tools hooked up, right? There's the MCP client and the Shopify HTTP request. Those are the two tools. It explains what it does and what you need to do with it. And so the agent knows how to use it. You can modify the prompt for yourself so that it is maybe a little bit more tuned to how you want to use it, but it's just a template prompt for you there. Next, we have our chat model. So we're using GPT 4.1 for this. We found that it's worked pretty well. It's so we're using this one here, but you can use any AI model you want. But the smarter the model, the better it's going to be able to interpret how to use the client, the MCP client and MCP server, and what to do with the code. Just a simple memory, right? So it keeps track of our message history. Okay, and then now we've got these two tools, right? So the MCP client and the Shopify HTTP request here. So in the MCP client, there's an SE endpoint and this authentication tools to include. So as a bare bones thing, you could say no authentication and tools to include is all. And then you need to provide an endpoint. So this is where you're going to need to do some behind the scenes work. This URL here doesn't actually exist for your store. So you're going to need to actually host an MCP server. And so if we come here and we click this link here, it's actually going to take you to a GitHub repository. And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to take this and we're going to install it to create a host where you can get a link that you can then pass into here. And I'll show you how to do that in a second, but I just want to explain like, hey, this step here is sort of the trick behind getting this MCP client to work is actually spinning up your own MCP server for your store. But don't worry, it's actually quite straightforward, so it's you don't have to worry about it too much. Now, one thing I do want to mention up front is that this URL here, if you don't have authentication set up, which I'm for the purposes of this demo, I'm not going to actually set up authentication, but that does mean that if anyone has access to this link, then they can actually use it to make changes to your Shopify store, right? So there's a few security things that you're gonna have to keep in mind. One is that you just don't want people to know what your SSE endpoint is if you give it access to your Shopify store. And second, you're probably gonna want to have authentication, so in case anyone gets access to it, they can't just start messing with your store. So after this video, I'm gonna make this URL inactive. So, if anyone's watching here, they can't just start messing around with my demo store. But that's something that you got to keep in mind, right? So let's show you how you can create your own MCP server now. So we use a free service called Render. So you can create a free plan. And once you're inside, it'll look something like this. And you can add a new web service. So we'll do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to just use a public Git repository. And I have this little template here, so we can actually copy the code and put it here. And so we'll just connect. And then the rest of this is pretty simple. So I'm just going to give this a different name than the one I had previously. So we'll just call this Shopify.dev MCP demo, something like that. Okay, so we can put this in our n8n project, which we created for in our account, and you want to use the free plan for this. The free plan is a little bit slower, right? It's a little bit less a little bit less CPU and RAM, but it's for the purposes of testing out your MCP server, it's perfectly adequate. Next, we have some environment variables that we need to add. So there's two variables that you need to include here. So the first one is going to be your my Shopify domain. So we're going to put that in there. And for me, this is our Shopify sort of demo store, Shopify prompted-demo-2.myshopify.com. For you, it's going to be something else. And then secondly, we need to add a Shopify access token, right? So for that, you need to put in your API key. And so, like I mentioned, if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to put a video in the description that explains how to get your own Shopify API keys and what access you want to give it, right? And so based on the access that you give the API key, that's the type of access that your MCP server is going to have, and thus your AI agent as well. So I'm just going to paste that in there, and then we are going to just deploy our web service. And then so basically we just have to wait for this to finish deploying. And so we're going to let this run, and when it's done, I'll come back and we'll continue. Okay, so you can see after a couple minutes, it's saying that the service is live at this URL right here. So we can just copy that. It's actually up here as well. And let's just replace our link with this one here. So we're going to need to keep the SSE there. So we're going to update that. And let's just save it and actually refresh, because we have this memory from the previous chats. And so I want it to trigger actually going into the MCP server again instead of relying on memory that it had previously. So hopefully there's no memory now. So let's just ask it a new question. Who is my first customer? Maybe ask the question like that. So hopefully it is able to get that information from the new MCP client. And yeah, okay. Our first customer is Bogus Gateway, right? And then we're using our new demo MCP server. So there we go, right? It was pretty simple to get that going. And then the last part here is our Shopify HTTP request node. And in this node, we have, we essentially give it the URL for a GraphQL API request. And we just specify that the body that we're sending is determined by the model. It's a JSON determined by the model, which is coming straight from the MCP server and our AI agent. So it's a really simple setup, and then we just need to set up our credentials, which, again, to get the API from Shopify and how to set that up, we have a video for that. Link is in the description. But you can see it's actually a really simple setup, and we can do so much in Shopify with just this simple agent. So it's super simple, super powerful. What's not to like? So that's the Shopify.dev MCP AI agent. I hope it's giving you tons of ideas on how you can use this agent as a base to build out your own Shopify agents. You could just use this agent as is, but you can also use it to build out a customer support agent, maybe one that can check orders status and generate discount codes. Or maybe you want an operations agent that helps you update your product listings and fulfills orders. Or maybe you just need an analyst to review your sales and generate reports. All of these agents should be possible using this MCP AI agent as a base. And if you like what you saw in this video today and want to get support with building Shopify AI agents, or even some of the more purpose-driven agents that I just mentioned, and you want to try out our systems and tools that can help scale your Shopify store, then check out the link in the description for a trial of the entry-level tier of our program. But that's it for today. I hope that helps, and I'll see you in the next one.